Welcome back, everyone. We're picking up right where we left off, talking about RhythmSpeak and its connection to, well, the body, the kinesthetics we explored last time.
Exactly. We established how movement is the language.
Right. And today, we're zeroing in on something I find particularly fascinating. How RhythmSpeak handles onomatopoeia. You know, words that sound like, well, sounds.
But it's definitely not just about making noises or simple mimicry like you might think.
No, it feels much deeper. More about embodying the sound.
Precisely. It's about translating the feeling, the very essence of a sound, like a thump or a hiss, into physical form, capturing its energy through movement.
The energy, okay, so less about hearing bang and more about seeing and, I suppose, feeling the suddenness, the force of it in the movement itself.
You've got it. The translation isn't auditory, it's visual and kinesthetic. We look at the sound's qualities. Is it fast? Is it forceful? Rhythmic? How does it move through space?
And those qualities dictate the movement.
Exactly. The movement mirrors the sound's core characteristics.
Okay, let's break that down. We have this helpful way to think about it, right? Different sound types get different movements.
Yes, precisely. Take sharp sounds, for instance. Things like crack or pop.
Quick sounds.
Very quick. So the movements are quick, too. Isolated. Maybe even a bit explosive, like a sudden snap of a limb. You see the sharpness?
I can picture that, almost like a visual punctuation mark.
Then contrast that with, say, continuous sounds, a whoosh or a long hiss.
Like wind or steam.
Right. Those translate into much more flowing, elongated gestures. Think sweeping arm movements, motions that sustain themselves, mirroring that ongoing sound.
Okay, that makes intuitive sense.
Oh.
What about the really impactful sounds, like a bang or a deep boom?
The percussive ones. Yeah, those demand-grounded, powerful movements. You might see forceful stomps, or maybe even controlled body drops that really convey weight and impact.
You feel the force just watching it.
You really do. It's about transmitting that sense of reverberation, almost.
Okay, and then on the other end, maybe lighter sounds, like a tick or a click.
Yeah, the delicate ones, the movements become much lighter, finer, maybe just delicate flicking gestures from the fingers or wrists, capturing that lightness, that precision.
It's all about matching the quality, isn't it?
It really is. And even soft sounds, like a whisper or a hush.
How do those look? Gentler, I assume?
Very gentle, airy motions. Slow, light brushes, perhaps. Movements that communicate quietness, subtlety.
Okay, and then there are the tricky ones, mechanical sounds,
Yeah.
like clank or clatter.
Right. Those often involve more complex, layered movements.
Failure.
Yeah, like rhythmic sequences where one motion seems to trigger the next, almost like a chain reaction. It reflects the often repetitive or multi-part nature of mechanical sounds.
Wow. So there's a whole vocabulary just for translating these sound types into motion.
A very intuitive vocabulary, yes. The body becomes the interpreter of the sound.
Now, you mentioned something crucial for making this clear, the indicator point, the IP.
Ah, yes, the indicator point. It's absolutely vital. It's a specific visual cue that always comes just before the onomatopoeic expression.
Like a little signal flag.
Sort of. It's a heads up for the observer. It clearly says, okay, this next movement is meant to embody a sound.
So it prevents confusion. You know why that particular movement is happening.
Exactly. It provides clarity and helps standardize things, especially when you start combining these into longer phrases.
Makes sense. What's the basic structure then? IP, then the sound movement.
Typically, yes. It's indicator point, then the onomatopoeic expression itself, the movement embodying the sound. And often that's followed by what we call a contextual move.
A contextual move.
Yeah, a movement that puts the sound into context or shows its effect. It adds the next piece of the story.
Okay, could you give us an example? Bring that structure to life.
Sure. Imagine a sharp point with the index finger. That's your indicator point.
Okay, sharp point.
Followed immediately by, say, a quick, forceful hand clap representing bang.
Got it, bang.
And then maybe a motion of pushing something away, the push away, that's the contextual move, showing the result of the bang.
I see. IP, bang. Push away, clear sequence.
Precisely. Or maybe a softer example. A gently open palm, presented as the IP.
Soft point.
Then a flowing, sweeping arm gesture, the whoosh.
Whoosh.
Followed perhaps by another move indicating, wind blowing something. A contextual move again.
That IP really focuses your attention, doesn't it? And I heard that the style of the IP can also mean something.
It absolutely can. You can use different IP styles to signal whole families of sounds.
Really? How so?
Well, a sharp staccato point might preface percussive sounds. A more flowing, airy IP could signal sustained sounds like whoosh. Maybe a more angular rhythmic point hints at upcoming mechanical sounds.
Wow, that's like adding another layer of information right at the start. Very efficient.
It's incredibly efficient, yes. Packs a lot of meaning into that initial gesture.
So these embodied sounds, these onomatopoeic expressions, how do they fit into the bigger picture of RhythmSpeak communication? Are they just isolated things?
Not always. They integrate in a few key ways. First, they can function as Stacy standalone expressions. Yeah, standalone expressions. The onomatopoeic movement itself is the whole message. A single, powerful downward strike could just mean boom, full stop.
Just boom, got it.
Or like a quick fluttering hand motion might simply mean sizzle. The sound movement is the meaning.
Okay, so sometimes they stand alone. What else?
Then you have nuance sets. This is really neat. You take a basic onomatopoeic movement and you modify it slightly, change the speed, the intensity, the direction to show variations of that sound.
Like adding adverbs, but with movement.
Kind of. Take click. Set 1.1 might be a tiny light finger flick, a light click or tick.
Okay.
Set 1.2 could be slightly faster, maybe repeated a moderate click-clack.
Right, a bit more complex.
And set 1.3 could be heavier, more forceful, maybe a clunk-clack. The core idea of click is there, but the movement quality adds the nuance.
That allows for so much detail in expressing the soundscape.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And the final way they integrate.
That's through compound sequences. This is where you weave the onomatopoeic expressions together with other, more narrative movements.
So building actual sentences or stories with sound included.
Exactly. This is where the storytelling power really comes alive. You could have an indicator point followed by a big crash motion, maybe a sudden collapsing movement, and then immediately a fallback motion. The sequence tells a mini story. IP crash, fallback, you see the impact.
I really do. Or another one.
Sure. Indicator point, then a fast hand vibration near the head for buzz.
Buzz. Annoying sound.
Right. And then maybe follow it with a sharp sweep away annoyance gesture. Again, IP buzz. Sweep away. It shows the sound and the reaction.
It's so expressive. You're not just showing a sound, you're showing its effect, its context.
Precisely. It integrates sound fully into the narrative flow.
Now, this isn't just for literal physical sounds. I seem to remember it can be more thematic.
Yeah.
Metaphorical.
Well, absolutely. Just like spoken language uses onomatopoeia metaphorically.
Yeah.
You know, the buzz of the crowd, RhythmSpeak does too. It goes beyond the literal.
How would something like thunderous applause look?
Great example. It might be shown with big, repetitive, wide arm claps, yes. But the quality of the movement would carry the feeling, that joyful resonance, that expansive energy radiating outwards. It's not just clapping, it's the feeling of thunderous applause.
The emotional quality is key.
Critical. Or think about buzzing with excitement.
Right, an internal feeling.
Yeah, that could be maybe fast, tremulous vibrations of the hands held near the chest, physically showing that internal energetic state, that anticipation.
So it bridges external sounds and internal feelings. That's quite profound, actually.
It really is. It connects the physical, the auditory, the emotional, all through movement. It taps into a very deep level of experience.
So wrapping this part up, it feels like adding onomatopoeia this way just unlocks this whole other expressive layer in RhythmSpeak.
It really does, a huge dimension. By embodying sounds, guided by that crucial indicator point, you create communication that's incredibly vivid.
Yeah.
And memorable, too.
Yeah, memorable because you're not just hearing about a sound, you're seeing it, feeling its quality through the performer's body.
Exactly. It moves beyond just observation into a more visceral understanding.
Which, for storytelling, must be incredibly powerful, adding a sensory layer that pure visuals might miss.
Fundamentally powerful, yes. It deepens the narrative impact, the emotional connection, significantly. When you can visually and kinesthetically feel the sound, the message hits differently. Harder, maybe.
It really does make you think, doesn't it? This idea of truly seeing and feeling the essence of a sound, not just hearing it. What kind of different perspective might that offer on communication, on experience itself?
It's a fascinating question. It's almost like learning a new way to sense the world.
A whole new sensory language emerging right there in the movement.